All right, all right, all right, all right. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. How is everyone doing this beautiful Sabbath day? Just want to check and see how everything is. There we go. Check on everything, so how everything is going on this beautiful Sabbath. Greetings, everyone. Hopefully, everyone's having a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Shabbat. Just share with everyone. Today is what they call is the it's the Sabbath, which is they call December 13th, 2025. This is December 13th, 2025. And today is the Sabbath, which is the assembly of the righteous. This is when the righteous come together and they assemblize on this day. And they because this is the day of rest. This is the day that the Creator told us to come together to rest in this day, and this is a sign unto the Almighty for us and to Him, from us to the Creator. This is a sign, and this is what He had asked us to do. So, this is our obedience to the Creator by keeping the Sabbath on this day. Now, first thing we do, we start off with a prayer. Then we go into the commandments, which we should do every Sabbath, and talk to our children and our people or our families and our house. This is the holy convocation when families come together, sit down, go through the word, and they do not work on this day. This is the day of rest, ordained by the Creator. So first we start off with the prayer, go through the commandments, then we have understanding why we have prophets. Then we will go into the reading of today. And today's reading is going to be Absalom's takeover. Absalom's takeover. All right. So we'll start from here. Blessed be thou, Father universe, that bring forth all living creatures forth from the earth. Blessed be thou, Father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Blessed be the Father of Israel. Blessed be the Father to our tribe of Israel. Thank you, Father, for all you've done, been doing, and plan to do. We ask you to keep giving us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, life, health, and strength, food, shelter, and clothing. Let us be happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, and prosperous in all that we do. We ask you to keep leading and guiding us so we can help leading, guiding others in your knowledge, your word, your ruach, and your way. We ask you to keep your armor protection around us, keep us in every way, help us in every way, and allow us to do and understand and overstand your will so we will do it, produce it, and keep it. Let us keep in honor of you. And we ask you to lift the spirit of sleep from us and the spirit of death and sleep from us, that we may open up to your eternal light, that we may do your will and grow in your will. We thank you, Father, for all you've done, been doing the plan to do. We ask you to forgive us of any sins that we have done in time past, today's time, and time to come, and allow us to seek and do your will, and forgive us our ancestors and our forefathers, and help us in every way, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, financial, or spiritual. In all these things we pray. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise you, Almighty. Thank you, Father. Now, all right, everyone. I'd like to thank my brother Dave, Christopher Dave, should I say. My brother Christopher Dave, I'd like to thank him for being in on us today, with us on Zoom at this point in time. I'd like to thank the brother. He's a very knowledgeable brother, and he will be one of the teachers amongst us in the near future in our private classes, as well as as for the public on the platforms that we have. That's for the public, but for the private, he's going to be great when it comes to the time of sharing information when the time to come. So right now, we're getting ready to get started in the information. I just did the prayer. We're gonna go through the law, which is the commandments, in Exodus chapter 20. Exodus chapter 20. These are the commandments. This is what we should teach our children diligently. Teach our children diligently so they will learn to know, to do, and obey the laws of Yah. And we're starting at Exodus chapter 20. And we read Exodus chapter 20, starting at verse 1, the Ten Commandments. And Yah spake all these words, saying, I am Yah thy father, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. First commandment, thou shalt have no other gods, deities before me. Second commandment. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yah thy father, am a jealous father, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children. I like to say, visiting the iniquity, ignorance of the parents upon the children, unto the third, which is the Greek, and fourth, which is the Roman, generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. And showing grace unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments, which is the grace is the mercy, which we're out of at this point in time. We're growing out of it daily, out of the mercy and into going into the laws and the wills of the creators, which we're reading right now. Third commandment, thou shalt not take the name, which is the law of Yah thy father, in vain, for Yah will not hold him guiltless that taketh, continue to do, or take his name, which is his law, in vain. Number 8, or shall I say the fourth commandment. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it hallowed, which is set aside, which is holy, which is hallowed. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yah thy father. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it, set it aside. Fifth commandment. Thou say, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yah thy father giveth thee. Sixth commandment. Thou shalt not murder. It says thou shalt not kill, but sometimes you have to kill for a cause. Just like you have to kill an animal to eat, sacrifice an animal's life to eat. Sometimes you have to kill someone that's maybe trying to kill you, like a burglar or something. So thou shalt not commit murder. Thou shalt not murder. Murdering is taking a life without a cause. To kill, it may be a cause behind it. Seventh commandment, thou shalt not commit idolatry or adultery. Adultery is when a man lays down with another man's woman or wife, or when any woman that belongs to a man lays down with another man. That's adultery. Know it or not, that's adultery. Excuse me, y'all. I don't know what it is. We're in that time of the year, so excuse me. We have a lot of mucus happening right now as well. Again, 7th, thou shalt not commit adultery. 8th commandment, thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not steal. 9th commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, which lawyers, prosecutors, and attorneys do all the time. They bear false witness because they wasn't there to see the incident or the crime. So they bear false witness. That's your lawyers, prosecutors, and your attorneys. 10th and last commandment that the Creator spoke himself from the mount, thou shalt not bear false, That's 9th commandment, shall I say. 10th commandment, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, which is want. Thou shalt not want, which is covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Thou shalt not covet, which is want thy neighbor's manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And then from there, that's the 10 commandments that the Creator spoke from the mount. And verse 18 says, the people's fear. And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed afar off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. 20. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for Yah is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near into the thick darkness where the Creator or Yah was. Then we move over to Deuteronomy chapter 18. That was Exodus 20, when Deuteronomy 18, verse 15 through 22. 15 states, a promised prophet. Yah, thy father, will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto thee, unto me, which is Moses. Unto him ye shall hearken. You're going to hear. According to all that thou desirest of Yah, thy father, in Horeb, in the day of the assembly. Excuse me. Saying, Let me not hear again the voice of Yah, my father, neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. 17. And Yah said unto me, They have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, Moses, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I command him. 19. Excuse me. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken, listen, hear unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, in his name, I will require it of him. Verse 20. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, the Creator's name, which I have not commanded him, meaning he lying to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other prophets, of other gods, shall I say, even that prophet shall die. And if thou say in thine heart, how shall we know the word which Yah hath not spoken? Excuse me. When a prophet speaketh in the name of Yah, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which Yah has not spoken. But the prophet has spoken it presumptuously. Thou shalt not be afraid of that prophet. Don't be afraid of him. Now we're going to where we are left off last week. Well, we're actually in chapter 16, 2 Samuel chapter 16, but where we left off, we like to do a recap. In 2 Samuel chapter 15, it talked about Zadok. It talked about mainly David setting up people in the chambers of Absalom. Absalom kind of came and he kind of got in the space of David. Now David ran, and David already have the conscience to understand that this is because of what he did to Uriah and Bathsheba. So what happened was Absalom is in the space of David now. So right now we have Abathar, Zadok, therefore, and Abathar carried the ark in verse 29 of 15. Zadok and therefore and Abathar carried the ark of Yah again to Jerusalem, and they tarried there. And David went up by the ascent of Mount Olive, and went and wept as he went up, and had his head covered. He was ashamed and he was embarrassed. And he went barefoot, and all the people that was with him. So he when he went barefoot, that's the fact he rushed out of there. He rushed out where he was at. He went barefoot. That means he was rushing. Why? Because Absalom was coming in, which is his son. He was coming in to take over. But this was prophesied because David had Uriah killed, and by him and then he took his wife. This is all a part of that prophecy that was spoken of by Nathan. the prophet. And all the people was with him, covered every man his head, and they went up weeping as they went up. And one told David, saying, Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. See, Aithophel, Ahithophel, whatever it is among, he was actually David's counselor, but now he's starting to counsel for Absalom. And David said, Oh, yeah, I pray thee, turn the counsel of Ahithophel, turn the counsel of that guy into foolishness. David prayed to the Creator, and said, make my last counselor, the one who gave me counsel, make his turn to foolishness. And it came to pass that when David, this is 32 of chapter 15, and it came to pass that when David was come to the top of the mount where he worshiped, Yah, behold, Hashui the Archite came to meet him with his coat rent and earth upon his head. Unto whom David said, If thou pass on with me, then thou shalt be a burden unto me. But if thou return to the city and say unto Absalom, I will be thy servant, O king. This is David's way of sending someone in there under Absalom. We had to come up with that last week. I had to read it a couple times. I didn't understand it at first, but we understood it by the time we got to the end. But if thou return to the city and say unto Absalom, I will be thy servant, O king, as I have been thy father's servant hitherto, so will I now also be thy servant. Then mayest thou go for me, defeat the counsel of Absalom. He wanted him to beat the counsel of his last counsel. And hast thou not there with thee Zadok, and Abiathar, the priests? So those are the priests. Therefore it shall be that what thing soever thou shalt hear out of the king's house, thou shalt tell it to Zadok and Abiathar, the priests. Behold, they have there with them their two sons, Ahimaaz and Zadok. Zadok's sons. I'm sorry, I'm mixed up right now. Let me get this again. Verse 36. 36. Behold, they have there with them their two sons, Ahimaaz, Zadok's son, and Jonathan, Abiathar's son. And by them ye shall send unto me everything that ye can hear. And Hushai's, David's friend, came to the city, and Absalom, David's friend, came into the city, and Absalom came into Jerusalem. So that's when Absalom came into Jerusalem to take over, and Hushai came into the city. David's friend went into the city. So that's when he's going to try to deceive Absalom. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm getting my head still together. But if y'all remember last week when we was here, where we left off at, I just want to go back, give a small recap on that situation. Because this is a part of David's curse. And this is the beginning of it. David knows about it. All the people don't know about it because they're just a part of the city and the councils and everything else. But only David, the creator, and Nathan knows what's going on. Them the only ones who really knows what's going on and what's happening. Now, chapter 16, 2 Samuel chapter 16. Now we can go in to find out what's going on, how it's happening, and the way it's happening. This right here is history and information. Things that's going on at this time is actually happening in today's time in many different ways, but we have to recognize it for what they are. So, chapter 16, Ziba's deceit. Ziba, Z-I-B-A's deceit. Let's find out what's about to happen. 2 Samuel chapter 16, verse 1. And when David was little, and when David was a little past the top of the hill, when David was a little past the top of the hill, behold, Ziba, the servant of Mephibosheth, met him with a couple of asses saddled, and upon him 200 loaves of bread, and 100 bunches of raisins, and 100 of summer fruits, and a bottle of wine, Okay. And the king said to Ziba, what meanest thou by these? And Ziba said, the asses be for the king's household to ride on, and the bread and summer fruit for the young men to eat, and the wine that such as be faint in the wilderness may drink. Okay, let's get this together. Look past top of the hill. The servant of okay. Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth. I think that's how I pronounce it. Mephibosheth met him with a couple of asses, and upon them with a couple of asses saddled. Upon them 200 loaves, 2 loaves of bread. That sound like the New Testament. 2 loaves of bread. Look at that. You see that right there? Jesus fed everybody with 2 loaves of bread. Oh, what, a fish and two fish and 5 loaves of bread or something like that. Boy, they sure know how to get their stories, don't they? 200 loaves of bread and 100 bunches of raisins, 100 bunches of raisins, and 100 summer fruits, and a bottle of wine. Yeah, we see where they be getting where they get their stuff from. I'm gonna hold off a minute before I do it. And the king said, verse 2, and the king said to Ziba, first I'm trying to keep up with Ziba. What asses be for the king's household to ride on, and the bread of summer fruits for the young men. And Ziba said, the asses be for the king's household to ride on, and the bread and summer fruit for the young men to eat, and the wine that such as be faint in the wilderness may drink. 3. And the king said, and where is thy master's son? Where's the master's son? And Ziba said unto the king, behold, he abideth at Jerusalem. For he said, today shall the house of Israel restore me the kingdom of my father. What? And the king said, and where is thy master's son? And Ziba said unto the king, behold, he abideth at Jerusalem. Excuse me. He abideth at Jerusalem, for he said, today shall the house of Israel restore me the kingdom of my father. Be sure everything's being seen. The kingdom of my father. Then said the king to Ziba, behold, thine are all, behold, thine are all that pertain to Mephibosheth. And Ziba said, I humbly beseech thee that I may find grace in thy sight, my lord, O king. And this is what I was saying last week. This is what I thought that was coming up, but didn't. Shemil cursed David. Shemil curses David. This is what I thought of last week. But at what point? Last week when I was going into here, I was saying, oh, that's 13. And Joab, son of Zeruiah, perceived the king's heart was towards Absalom. Nope, that wasn't it. Absalom's revolt against David. Nope. Yup, we just take it from here. Shemil's curses David. Let me hit that though. First, let me get Ziba. David was a little past the top of the hill. Ziba met him a couple of asses, saddled, and upon him was 200. And the king said to Ziba, what meanest thou by these? And Ziba said, the asses be for the king's household to ride on, for the young men to eat, may drink. And the king said, why art thou, well, he said, and he said unto the king, behold, he abideth at Jerusalem. For he said, behold, he abideth at Jerusalem. And Ziba said unto the king, oh, I can say his son, for he said, today shall the house of Israel be restored unto my kingdom of my father. Then said the king to Ziba, behold, thine are all that pertaineth unto Mephibosheth. And Ziba said, I humbly beseech thee. Okay. There's going to the difference of who's saying what. All right. Between him and the king talking. Shemil curses David. Put that over here. Verse 5. And when King David came to Bahurim, 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 behold, thence came out a man of the family of the house of Saul. Family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shemil. Shemili or Shemil, the son of Gershon. He came forth and cursed. He came forth and cursed, still as he came. And he cast stones at David and at all the servants of King David, and all the people and all the mighty men were on his right hand and on his left. And thus said Shemil, when he cursed, come out, thou bloody man, and thou man of Belial. That what he said. And thus said Shemil, when he cursed, come out, thou bloody man, thou man of Belial. The Lord has returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul, whose stead thou hast reigned. And you took over Saul's house. This reminds me, now just listening at this reminds me of Malcolm X and what's his name? Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad. That what this kind of reminds me of. Just in thought. That just hit my mind. That what this kind of remind me of. And the Lord has delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom, thy son. And behold, thou art taken in thy mischief because thou art a bloody man. Now, you know what? David knew what was going on with that. Hold on, let me get all this. Now, Lord has returned thee upon all the blood of the house of Saul. This is a sign. That's a sign. And the reason why this is a sign, everybody, is because this is the sign of what David did, and he's giving David. He's the Creator shows people things through other people. Now, when David got the when he got the prophecy about the things that's going to happen to him, said the things you did in the dark, I'm gonna do in the light. Say you took a man's wife. I'm just paraphrasing. You took a man's wife in the dark. I'm going to do it amongst the sun. Another man gonna lay. Your neighbor gonna lay with your wives in front of the sun. This is right here. And Shamil, this dude right here. Shamil is he's just all he's doing is letting David know spiritually, because it's spiritual, because nobody else knew what was going on. Nobody knew about this, but he's coming out because David is taking the place of Saul, and he might have just like a lot of people, they was torn apart. Some people like okay, got a brother here. Burger Lee. Good to see you, Burger Lee, over there on Facebook. You had to separate that. I had some people liking oh, what was his name? Elijah Muhammad. You had some people liking Malcolm X. It was a split in the quote unquote kingdom. Whatever kingdom they had, it was a split there. So this is like the split what happened with them. Malcolm X was like a son to Elijah Muhammad. So this is kind of like, if you look at it, the situation what happened. So it said, and it said, and thus Shamil went, the verse 7. Thus said Shamil when he cursed. Come out, thou bloody man, and thou man of Belial. And he was at the time before what he did. Would you, when don't make a difference? I don't care how how close you think you are to the Creator. If you do something wrong, you are Satan, whatever it is. Now you can repent and be forgiven, but whatever you repent, and if the Creator forgive you, in whatever way, first and foremost, he said he chastised those who he loved. David is going through his chastisement now. David is going through his chastisement. Yah have returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul. You know, he said that, but the Creator already knew what was going on. The house of Saul was already in, not the house, but Saul himself was already, the Creator had already taken the kingdom from Saul. So David understood what this was for and why. In whose stead thou hast reigned, and Yah has delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom, thy son, which he did. The Creator did it at that time, but David knew why. And behold, thou art taken in the mischief, see, in thy mischief, that's right, because thou art a bloody man. And this is the blood that was upon his head. When he wanted to build a house for the Creator, that's the blood that was on his head, because he couldn't build because you had blood on your hands. And you murdered a man. So I'm going to let you do that? No, your son going to do it for me. Then said Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, unto the king, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? his dead dog. Curse my lord the king. Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head. See there? He wanted to go take his head off, but he didn't know why David was going through that. And the king said, what have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah? So let him curse. See, there you go right here. So let him curse, because the Lord has said unto him, curse David. See, David knew. Who shall then say, what for hast thou done? Who shall then say, wherefore hast thou done so? Why did he do this? David knew why he did it. David ready to go take the man's head off, but David knew why the dude was saying what he was saying. And the king said, what have I to do with you, sons of Zeruiah? So let him curse, because Yah has said unto him, curse David, who shall, he knew. And David said to Abishai and to all his servants, behold, my son, which came forth of my bowels, seeketh my life. How much more now may this Benjamite do? Hold on. And David said to Abishai, and to all his servants, letting them know David understood. Behold, my son which came forth from my bowels seeketh my life. My own son that I raised, that my seed, seek my life. How much more may this Benjamite do? How much more can he do? How much? Let me get this. How much more this Benjamite do it? Do it. Let him alone and let him curse. See, he said, let him alone and let him curse. David knew he was wrong and he had to accept the punishment. Some people don't like correction. That's the sad part about our people. And David accepted his correction. He knew he was wrong by what he did, no matter if nobody else knew about it. No matter if no other person knew about it, David knew he was wrong. That's why self-reflection is very important in this day and time and in everything we do. Self-reflection. You got to look at yourself. Look at the things you do. Look at the things that's going on. You got to look at your surroundings. A lot of people are too busy doing this. They gone and they ain't sitting back. They don't never take the time to sit back and say, what did I do? Why is this happening to me? Why is this coming up on me? Why is this going on? People don't think about themselves and the things that they need to be looking at. They're too busy pointing the finger at everybody, but forget you got 3 fingers pointing back at you. So there's a cause to every effect. There's a cause behind every effect. So every time something happens, or if something is going on, there's a reason behind it. But we have to recognize the reasons as it's happening, or while it's happening, or after it happened. We got to sit back and ponder on things. As long as we keep playing the victim and pointing the finger, you'll never come to the conclusion and understanding what the real understanding that we need as a people and within ourselves. That's the problem. A lot of us don't like to look at self. We point the finger, we want to do this and that, but we can't sit back and look at ourselves at the things that's needed. Verse 12, it may be that, this is David still talking, let him alone and let him curse, for Yah has bidden him. See, he know the Creator did it. For the Creator has bidden him. For Yah has bidden him. That it may be Yah's will, look on mine affliction, and that Yah will requite me good for this curse. See that? He may require me good for this cursing today, for his cursing today. That means He have accepted it. And he's looking. This may, it said, the credit, scripture says, Yah, the creator, just let everyone know, chastise those he loves. A lot of people don't like chastisement. But when you look at it and you get a good whooping behind it, you sit back and ponder on the things, the reason why these things are happening to you. And as David and his men went by the way, Shemiel went along on the hillside. Okay. Shemiel went along on the hillside over against him and cursed as he went. He was still cursing him. This is when people take it too far. Over against him, cursed as he went. And they threw stones at him and cast dust. Shemiel went along the hillside over against him and cursed as he went, and threw stones at him as he and cast dust. And the king and all the people that were with him came weary and refreshed themselves there. They came weary and refreshed themselves there. All right. Absalom enters Jerusalem. Absalom enters Jerusalem. 15. And Absalom and all the people, the men of Israel, came to Jerusalem, and Ahithophel with him. Ahithophel, I'm saying Ahithophel. I don't know. I can't say the name. But we're in verse 15. 2 Samuel 16, verse 15 is where we at. And Absalom and all the people, the men of Israel, came to Jerusalem, and Ahithophel, I can't say it, with him. And it came to pass when Hushai, the Archite, David's friend, was come to Absalom. And Hushai said unto Absalom, Yah save the king. Yah save the king. Yah save the king. Yah save the king. And Absalom said to Hushai, Is this thy kindness to thy friend? Is this thy kindness to thy friend? Why wentest thou not with why wentest thou not with thy friend? Why you ain't go with your friend? Aren't you, he's saying, aren't you David's friend? Why you ain't go with your friend? And Hushai said unto Absalom, Nay, but whom Yah has this people, nay, but whom Yah and his people, but whom Yah and this people and all the men of Israel choose, his will be, and with him will I abide. Okay. What he's saying is, let me say that again, verse 18. And Hushai said unto Absalom, Hushai is with David. And Hushai said to Absalom, Nay, but whom Yah and his people and all the men of Israel choose, his will be, and with him will I be. So he's speaking. And Absalom said unto him, I'm making sure I keep these like this, so if I have to come back, I know where to go, and I'm looking at what I need to see. and Hushai. Just wanted to get this real quick. All right, verse 19. And again, whom should I serve? Should I not serve the presence of his son? As I have served in thy father's presence, so will I be in thy presence. Buttering them up. Then said Absalom to Ahithophel, give counsel among you what we should do. So I'm saying Ahithophel, that's what I'm calling it. Ahithophel. I don't know, Ahithophel. I think that's what it's saying. Ahithophel. Then said Absalom to Ahithophel, give counsel among you what we shall do. And Ahithophel said unto Absalom, go in unto thy father's concubines. Dang. Or go into thy concubine, which he had left to. Man, he gonna give him counsel to do something like that. Oh boy. He's telling him to go into. Now he was the counsel of David. And he gonna tell his son to go into your daddy's wives. Go have sex with your daddy's wives. Ain't that crazy? And he put me in David's counsel. Man. But that's what the creator said that was gonna happen. He said, you did it secret, but I'm gonna have your neighbor do it to you in the open. But check it out, said, and Absalom said unto Absalom, go unto thy father's concubines, which he has left, to keep the house, and all Israel shall hear that thou art abhorred of thy father, and shall the hands of all that are with thee be strong. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. Sorry about that, y'all. Mm-mm-mm. So it says, let me read this again, verse 21. And Abdiel said, and Af, and Af, both Af, whatever, said unto Absalom, go in unto thy father's concubines, which he has left to keep the house, and all Israel shall hear that thou art abhorred of thy father, then shall the hands of all that are with thee be strong. So he's saying they're gonna see that the father really is abhorred for things he did. That's supposed to make him strong. That what he said as opposed to be a counselor. Verse 22. So they spread Absalom a tent upon the top of the house. And Absalom went in unto his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. Mm-mm-mm. Knowing that that's against the law. And this guy supposed to be a counselor. Or he really trying to show him that he against his father, but that's still not of Yah. And the counsel of Absalom, which he counseled in those days, was as if a man had inquired at the oracle of Yah. That's the reason why he took his word, his word. So that means this guy was strong in his conversation. And the counsel of Aphathiel, whoever this counselor is, which he counseled in those days, was as if a man had inquired at the oracles of Yah. So was all the counsel of Aphathiel, both with David and with Absalom. That's where his counsel was. Let me just put this right here in yellow to show how powerful this is supposed to be in. So he's supposed to be, his word was like gold. When he spoke, everybody listened. That's why David said, let his counsel be fool. He prayed to the Creator. David prayed to the Creator to let his counsel be foolish. Let Aphathiel counsel be foolish. So we just got through with 17. So how far are we in here so far? Well, we got 51 minutes in, good. So we get ready to cut, we get ready to pause this for part 1. We're gonna go into part 2, which is in chapter 17. We're going to do chapter 17. So this is the end of part 1. I'm glad you're still with us, Christopher Dave. I'm gonna start saying that because this is what I keep seeing. But the name is Christopher Dave. I got you. CD. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pause this point right we at. Oh, before we do that, let's go see what we got. A brother that joined us in Facebook. This is Burger. This is Burger Yali Burger. Christopher. Yali Burger Christopher is watching. Let's see. He said it's whatever they're putting in that fog. It's whatever they're putting in that fog. You know they have a patient pending for that fog. That's just mysteriously all around. It's been here in Madeira for 3 weeks. Has not dispersed. Crazy because in Fresno, California, we don't have that kind of weather. Okay. Talking about my head, talking about me with all this mucus and stuff coming up. You say praying. What chapter was that in Exodus? Let's see something real quick. Okay, Perry, cousin Perry O'Bannon watching as well. What chapter was that in Exodus? Okay, let's see. What Exodus that we're talking about? You just said what chapter is it? I don't know which one you're talking about. So the only thing in Exodus that we was reading from was Exodus chapter 20. It was Exodus 20, the 10 Commandments, from 1 to 17. And then we started off with the prophets right after that. So the people asked for a prophet right after that. This was in the beginning of everything. When they asked for a prophet, that was from verse 18 to 21. Then the conclusion to the prophets and prophecies is in Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 15 through 22. So that's what we always start off with every Sabbath, letting people get an understanding of the commandments and then how prophets came to be and how the Creator started allowing us and what he said in order for us to have prophets. So that was spoken at that time. Then from there, we went into 2 Samuel chapter 16. Now we're going to pause here And we're going to go into chapter 17 when we come back. But other than that, I just want to share with everybody that I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm that same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwelled, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This was prophesied for you to see, that Mikael is really me. So just sharing with you this right today, this is actually called Absalom's Takeover. This is called Absalom's Takeover, and this is where we at the moment. So as we can see, Absalom is moving into Jerusalem. He's taking over the council, the main one that was the council for David. The councilman, he's now council for Absalom. David has set up men to go in to be servants unto Absalom, but bring him back information, which is like spies. So he got two people to be servants, and he using their sons to go tell the sons to go tell David what they need to know, what needs to know, so he can know what's going on under his son. But it was also prophesied that these things are going to happen when you go into the point of Uriah, Bathsheba, and David. Then you have a better understanding. Excuse me. So other than that, we're going to pause Zoom. So my brother Christopher Dave will be right back in a few moments. I'm going to pause you. Peace. Be right back. All right, look like we back on. We back on. We back on. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Greetings, everyone. Greetings, and Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Today is the Sabbath, which is the day of the righteous, and the righteous for those who come and keep the Sabbath, or just come and work, or not work on the Sabbath, just sit down, go into the Word. And this right here is assembly of the righteous. This is for the righteous to come together and go in the Word of Yah and understand His laws, His ways, and examples. His laws, his ways, and examples he has given to us through the scriptures for our life and for to follow his ways and wills and will. So we just come out of 2 Samuel chapter 16. We just come out of 2 Samuel chapter 16, where still David's in the process of going into the wilderness. He left barefoot, he left ashamed. He was ashamed because he left with his head covered, and he was barefooted. So that means he rushed out of wherever he was. A lot of time when you don't have time to turn around and go get some of the things you're going to get when you're rushing, if something is coming upon you or something about to happen, you don't have time. But let me go get no different than Lot and his wife and his family. He told him to get out. Don't look back. The wife looked back. She turned to a pillar of salt. So the whole thing is when you read these stories. The whole thing is when you start to read these stories, you start to see an understanding of things that's happening and how they're happening. Some people don't pay attention to how urgent a lot of these things are going on in these stories. A lot of people not paying no attention to how urgent this stuff is happening. Reason why is because they just reading it for a story. When he said that they was walking over here in 2 Samuel chapter 15, he said, and David went up in 2 Samuel 15, when it said in verse 30, and David went up by the accent of the Mount Olive, and wept as he went up, and had his head covered. So his head was covered, and he went up barefoot. See, if he went up barefoot, that means a lot of people don't even pay attention to that. He went up barefoot. That means he was rushed. He got up. He got to get up and get out. Okay, come on, now let's go. He went barefoot. He didn't have time to put no shoes on. So that right there was an indication that he was rushing, And everybody else that was with him, they covered their heads because they found out what was going on. But in chapter 16, it was the deceit of Ziba, because Ziba, he actually came. He went he went there and he brought food and stuff for David. But Shemiel, he brought some food. He brought what did he buy in verse 1? Said he brought a couple of asses saddled with upon them 200 loaves of bread and 100 bunches of raisins and 100 summer fruits. So he brought, I don't know how that, this said Ziba's deceit. I don't know why it says that here, but he must have seated Absalom. I don't know. But the point is that he came there for him, and then and the king said to Ziba, "What meanest thou by these?" And Ziba said, "As the asses be for the king's household to ride on," and he brought them stuff. Then he said in verse 3, he brought him all that stuff. In verse 3, he said, and the king said, "And where is thy master's son? Where's your son at?" He asked, "Where your son, I believe." "Behold, he abideth at Jerusalem. For he said, Today shall the house of Israel restore me the kingdom of my father." Then said the king to Ziba, "Behold, thine are all thine pertain. Thine are all that thou pertains unto Mephibosheth," whoever that is. And Ziba said, "I humbly beseech thee that I may find grace in thy sight, my lord, O king." So I didn't understand that point of view. But when it got to verse 5, Shemiel curses David. Now, Shemiel, I'm calling Shamael or Shemiel, I'm just going to say it like that. Shemiel, he cursed David. Now, from verse 5 down to 8, he was cursing David. He was cursing. Now, he ain't say no bad words as far as we know cursing, we call cursing. But what he did was he just, cursing is when you speak against people in a negative way. No different than evil, it's the same difference. Anything that's on the negative side is really evil. A lot of people, they say, it was certain conversations in here and that you will have, as long as you're on the negative side, it's evil. We end up, I come to find out according to the information. But right down here, verse 7, it says, "And thus says Shemiel," verse 7 to 8, it says, "And thus says Shemiel when he cursed, come out, ye bloody man, and thou man of Belial." Verse 8, "The Lord has returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul." It wasn't Saul that he did that for. That he did that. The Creator cursed David, and the only ones knew about this was David, Nathan, and the Creator. They're the only three that knew besides Bathsheba. Now, Bathsheba didn't know about the curse, but she knew she was a part of it. Because she came and had, but it was David who had sex with her. If you notice, she's kind of innocent in it because she's not, I ain't gonna say she's innocent. She was taken because that's what it sounded like. He took a ewe lamb, but I'm not gonna put it out there like that. But the point is, she came to him. He being the king, having the power that he had, whether it was up to her to resist or not, she gave in to him. She had sex with him, being another man's woman. And then David had that man killed because he didn't, well, when you read the story, if you understand like the things that's going on today, a lot of women are claiming or they blame another man for the man of somebody, for a baby that belongs to someone else. That's been going on for quite some time. The Murray Show was full of it. But the point that I'm getting at is David tried to send Uriah home so he could have sex with her so it could look like it was his baby. But he didn't, and that was of the Creator. Anybody coming out of war gonna want to go be with their wife. And I don't know no man that's not. Whether it's his wife or one of his wives, he gonna want to go be with a woman. According to real law, that is, I'm saying. But he gonna want to go be with his woman. A lot of people say society, whatever, he gonna go want to be with a woman. Most of them will be their wife. But he didn't go twice. 2 days he didn't go. So David put him on the front line to be X'd out. Now Nathan come and gave David a prophecy. He prophesied to him what was going to end up happening, and what was end up happening is coming to pass now. So when this happened, when this man came and cursed David, this was part of the problem. This is David gonna share it with you because David knows. This is the point where stuff gonna be going on around people, All kind of things could be going on, and you don't know reason why these things are happening. This is what I mean by bringing stuff into fruition about stuff, understanding about what's going on here. Stuff can be happening around you or to you because of somebody else. You trying to take up for them, but it's something that they may have did in the time past, in that time, or something they have done, and you probably trying to, you in the way. So you're going to get cursed right along with them. That's just an example. But what happened here is David knew why this man was cursing at him. So I'm reading 7 and 8, and I'm gonna take it on down so you can understand before we go into chapter 17. So again, verse 7 says, and thus said Shemaiah, when he cursed, come out, when he cursed, come out, ye bloody man, and thou man of Belial. Verse 8, this is the sign. Yah has returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul, even though it wasn't that, it's really Uriah, truthfully. In whose stead thou hast reigned. And Yah has delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom thy son. And behold, thou art taken in thy mischief. Now that's true. Thou hast been taken in thy mischief because thou art a bloody man. Now all this wasn't nothing but the Creator talking to David through that man. This is how you understand things spiritually. The Creator was talking to David through that man, but David knew who was talking. He knew it wasn't him. He knew it wasn't him talking on his own. He knew that the Creator was talking to him through him because of what he did. And then verse 9. Then said Abishai and the son of Zeruiah and the king unto the king, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over, I pray thee, and take his life and take off his head. But check out what David said. And this is when you are honoring and accepting your punishment. And the king said, what have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah? So let him curse. Because when Yah said unto him, curse David, who shall then say, wherefore hast thou done this? Wherefore, why you done this? He know why he doing it. Verse 11, and David said to Abishai and to all his servants, behold, my son, which came forth of my bowels, seek my life. How much more now may this Benjamite do it? Let him alone, and let him curse, for Yah has bidden him. You see that? See, David knew this. It may be that Yah will look on my affliction, and that Yah will requite, shall I say, that Yah will requite me good for his cursing this day. Now, let me share something with you. What he's saying is this right here. If I can run right up on it real quick. Hey, Mike, close that door, okay? All right. All right, here, verse 5, I believe it is. Deuteronomy 8 and 5, it says, thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chasteth his son, so Yah thy father chastened thee. That means that he chastised those that he loved. He said, thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chasteneth his son, which is chastise his son, so Yah thy father chastising thee. That's what he do to those he loves. Now, if y'all out there and y'all doing stuff and you ain't getting paid behind it, you ain't getting no whooping behind it, you ain't part of the father. Now, just if you're doing something wrong, there's no reason for you, if you're doing right, to get whooped. Some people think, oh, I ain't getting whooped by the father. You don't need to if you're doing all right. Who wants a whooping for nothing? I don't. So when it says right there, let him alone. In verse 2, Let him alone, let him curse, for Yah has bidden him. It may be that Yah will look on mine affliction, and that Yah will requite me good of his cursing this day. And David, who said from that point, y'all can read the rest of it at that point on. Now we're going on into 17. We're in 2 Samuel chapter 16. 2 Samuel chapter 17 is where we're starting off. We just did 16. We're going into 2 Samuel chapter 17. This is where we're at right now. All right. The council of Absalom and Hushai. Now, just to share with you, before we go into it, let me share with the last thing that was said. But Craig had already pronounced this was going to happen when he spoke to Nathan. Let me find it for you real quick. Hold on. Right here, when verse 10, 2 Samuel chapter 12, right here. I'm going to give you facts. When I say stuff, I like it to be factual. I ain't going to read the whole thing. Y'all can read the whole thing. Verse 10. This is the conclusion. This is, if you go to 12, chapter 12, 2 Samuel chapter 12, it talks about Nathan rebukes David. I call this is the prophecy of the curse. This is the prophecy of the curse against David, of the chastisement, what was going to happen. Starting at verse 10. Now, therefore, the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me. When he said despise him, he went against my word, and he despised me by doing what you did, and has taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus said Yah, behold, I will raise up evil against thee. This is what David is going through right now. Raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun. He gonna lie with your wives in the sight of the sun. For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. This is what's happening right now. Now listen with David's I call him his ex-counselor, because this dude was serving David. Now all of a sudden, look at what this man tells. Now this is against the Creator. But look what he tells Absalom. Verse 20. This is 16 and 20. 2 Samuel 16 and 20. Then said Absalom to I'm gonna say Apathiel. I don't know it. I can't say it right. So Atiphoel. I don't know. I can't say the name. Give counsel among you what we shall do. And Atiphoel, I can't say it, said unto Absalom, go in unto thy father's concubines, which he has left to keep the house, and all Israel shall hear that thou art abhorred of thy father. Then shall the hands of all that are with thee be strong. So they spread Absalom a tent. Check this out. So they spread Absalom a tent upon the top of the house, and Absalom went in unto his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. On top of the castle, house, wherever it is that it was. And he did it in the sight of all Israel. Verse 22. And the counsel of Apathiel, whatever his name is, which he counseled in those days, were as if a man had inquired at the oracles of Yah. So was all the counsels of Apathiel, both with David and with Absalom. So his word meant power. When he spoke, that's why David said, let his counsel be foolish. He prayed to the Creator and said, let it be foolish. Now we're going into chapter 17. We're in chapter 17. The counsel of Apathiel and Hushai. Moreover, Absalom said unto Absalom, I'm sure he's saying that. I'm sad. I'm sorry I can't say his name correct, but that's the best way I can say it. So, moreover, Ahithophel said unto Absalom, let me now choose out 12,000 men, and I will arise and pursue after David this night. Look at it. And I will come upon him while he is weary and weak-handed, and will make him afraid. And all the people that are with him shall flee, and I will smite the king only. You see that? I will smite the king only. Look at this dude, boy. 3. And I will bring back all the people unto thee. The man whom thou seekest is as if all 3. And I will bring back all the people unto thee. The man whom thou seekest is as if all return. So all the people shall be in peace. And the same pleased Absalom well, and all the elders of Israel. So all this stuff pleased Absalom. Then said Absalom, call now Hushai the Archite also, and let us hear likewise what he says. So now this was smart. He's finding counsel from different. But it's his choice. He's supposed to be in place now to make the choice. So then Absalom called now Hushai the Archite also, and let us hear likewise what he said. And when Hushai was come to Absalom, Absalom spake unto him, saying, Ahithophel have spoken after this manner. Shall we do after this saying? If not, speak thou. Now, and Hushai said unto Absalom, the counsel that Ahithophel, I guess that's what it is. The counsel of Ahithophel has given is not good. Is not good at this time. For Hushai knoweth, for said Hushai, thou knowest thy father and his men, that they be mighty men, and they be chafed in their minds, as a bear robbed of her whelps in the field. And thy father is a man of war, and will not lodge with the people. Oh, he's smart. That was smart. He said, that's not wise. Behold, he is hid now in some pit or in some other place. And it will come to pass, when some of them be overthrown at the first, that whosoever heareth it will say, there is a slaughter among the people and that follow Absalom. Oh, and he also that is valiant, whose heart is as the heart of a lion, shall utterly melt. For all Israel knoweth that thy father is a mighty man, and they which be with him are valiant men. Oh boy, he hit him strong. Therefore, I counsel that all Israel be generally gathered unto thee, from Dan even to Beersheba, at the sands as by the. Okay. Now he's the one, he called everybody at one place at one time. Let me get this. This was good. Okay. Moreover, Ahithophel said unto Absalom, let me now choose out 12,000 men, and I will rise and pursue after David. This dude right here, boy. I wonder I wonder how people are low at one point and they turn, and I will come upon him while he is weary and weak-handed, and make him afraid. And all the people that are with him shall flee,
and I will smite the king only. And I will bring back the people unto thee whom thou seekest, as if all return. So the people shall be in peace. And then, and the saying pleased Absalom. And the sayings pleased Absalom well and all the elders of Israel. You know what this remind me of? This remind me of just people always just agreeing with whatever's, because they're around in that particular place at the time. Oh, yeah, yeah, this sounds good. Everybody come together. But I guess they with them. That's why they with them. If they with them, I guess they would be with the same situation. Then said Absalom, call now Hushai the Archite, and let us hear what he said. And when Hushai came to Absalom, Absalom spake unto him, saying, after thou hast spoken after this manner, shall we do after this saying? If not, speak thou. Okay. Oh, this is Absalom speaking. And if not, let me hear what you got to say. And Hushai said unto Absalom, here we go. And Hushai said to Absalom, the counsel that Ahithophel, I'm gonna say it like that. Ahithophel has given is not good. Is not good at this time. For he said, said Hushai, thou knowest thy father. For and he said, thou knowest thy father. They be mighty men. Thou knowest thy father and his men, that they be mighty men and they be chafed in their minds. And a barrel and they be shaped in their mind as a bear robbed of her whelps in the field. There we go. Gotta make sure I get it right. And thy father is a man of war and will not lodge with the people. He ain't gonna put the people in danger. And that was true. Behold, he is hid now in some pit or in some other place, and it will come to pass. It will come to pass when some of them be overthrown at the first, that whosoever heareth it will say, there is a slaughter among the people that follow Absalom. Yeah, he got him good with that one. 10. And he also that is valiant, whose heart is as the heart of a lion, shall utterly melt. For all Israel knoweth that thy father is a mighty man, and they which be with him are valiant men. Check this out, y'all. Guess what just hit my mind? I'm looking at today's time with this what I'm reading right now. Remember, I just shared at part one. I shared it reminded me of Prophet Muhammad, and these two reminded me of Prophet Muhammad and Malcolm X. Guess what's hitting me right now? The Republican and Democrats. Let me just say the Democrats and now I ain't gonna say Republican, I'm just gonna say the Democrats and Trump. David is Trump, or Trump is David, and the Democrats is Absalom and everybody following them. Because what I'm looking at right now, I'm looking at the Democrats, is the council and everybody else behind Absalom, because they're the one who giving them counsel. So all them working together. David is man on his own, and the people just those that are hidden in number, They ain't looking at the people, they're looking at David. So David is Trump. I'm looking at this. This just hit me as I'm reading this. I'm looking at Trump being David, and the Democrats is everybody else all on that side that's going against David. And this is what I'm seeing. That just hit my mind as I'm reading this. Verse 11. Therefore, I counsel that all Israel be generally gathered. And you know what I see right here? This is my first time seeing Israel being gathered together as one man, besides the time in Ezra, but that's coming later. That's coming later. This is the first time I think they all was together. All Israel was gathered as one. Therefore, I counsel, let me get this. Where's my pen? There we go. Therefore, I counsel that all Israel be generally gathered unto thee, from Dan even to Beersheba, as the sand that is by the sea, for multitude, and that thou goest to battle in thine own person. And that thou goest to battle in thine own person. So he called all the people together. Thou shalt say, so shall we come upon him in some place where he shall be found, and we will light upon him as the dew falleth on the ground, and of him that of all the men, and of him and of all the men that were among him, there shall not be left so much as one. Hold on, let me get this. That do sound smart, but he taking everybody. Moreover, if he be gotten into a city, then shall all Israel bring ropes to that city, and we will draw it unto the river, the city into the river, until there be not one small stone found there. I mean, they can take the whole city and drown everybody. Pull the city into a lake or whatever you want to call it, into a city that shall be bring him ropes. That city we will draw it into the river until there be not one small stone found. And Absalom and all the men of Israel said, the counsel of Hushai, the Archite, is better than the counsel of Aphathiel. His counsel was better. For Yah has appointed to defeat the good counsel of Al, then that's what it is. For Yah had appointed to defeat the good counsel of Ahithophel to the intent that Yah might bring evil upon Absalom. And this right here. That was the narrator right there. Now, Hushai reports secretly to David. Now he's doing a report. He sent a report. Now that he gave that, Hushai reports secretly to David. Now here we go. Verse 15. Then said Hushai to Zadok, and to Abiathar, the priest, thus and thus did Ahithophel counsel Absalom and the elders of Israel, and thus have I counseled. He let them know what he did. Now therefore send quickly and tell David, saying, lodge not this night in the plains of the wilderness, but speedily pass over, lest the king be swallowed up and all the people that are with him. Now Jonathan and Ahimaaz, Ahimaaz, Asamas stayed by in in Rogel, for they okay, wait a minute, hold on, let me get this. These was the messengers, Jonathan and Amathas, Ahamas, Ahamas. Hushai unto Zadok and the priest said unto thus and thus. So they said it to them, and Jonathan and Ahamas stayed by in Rogel, for they may not be seen to come into the city, so that they don't be seen to be coming to the city. And a wrench went and told, and a wrench, and a wrench. I remember calling some old women that, and a wrench went and told them, and they went and told King David. Nevertheless, a lad saw them and told Absalom. Somebody saw him, and they told Absalom. Somebody saw him, but they went both of them away quickly, and came to a man's house in Bahurim, which had a well in his court. Whether they went down. 19. And the woman took and spread a covering over the well's mouth. Let me say that. And the woman took and spread a covering over the well's mouth, and spread ground corn thereon, and the thing was not known. The thing was not known. And when Absalom's servants came to the woman to the house, they said, "Where is Amahaz and Jonathan?" That was the wrench. And the woman said unto them, "They be gone over the brook of water." And when they had sought and could not find them, they returned to Jerusalem. And it came to pass, after they were departed, that they came up out of the well and went and told King David. Oh, so that's where they was at. They was in the well. Okay. And it came to pass, after they were departed, that they came up out of the well. So they was in the well. It didn't say that. She just said, let me read that part again. 16. Now therefore said quickly, go tell David, saying, lodge not. Excuse me. Lodge not this night in the plains of the wilderness, but speedily pass over, lest the king be swallowed up and all the people that are with him. So Jonathan, which is my last son, Jonathan and Ahamas stayed by in Rogel, for they might not be seen to come into the city. And a wrench went and told them, and they went and told King David. So she went and told them, they went to go tell King David. Nevertheless, a lad saw them and told Absalom, but they went not, but they went both of them away quickly, and came to a man's house in Bahurim, which had a well in his court. Whether they went down. They went down into the well. Okay. I didn't understand that for a moment. That was it. Whether they went down. They went down into the well right here. I had to go back and get that. into the well. That's where they went down into the well. Whether they went down. 19. And the woman took and spread a covering over the well's mouth. That's why she did that. Okay. Now it's better understanding. And the woman took and spread a covering over the well's mouth and spread ground corn thereon. So the corn was grounded. It wasn't regular corn, just ground corn thereon. And the thing was not known. And when Absalom's servants came to the woman to the house, they said, "Where is Amahaz, Ahamaz, and Jonathan?" And the woman said unto them, "They be gone over the brook of water." And when they had sought and could not find them, they returned to Jerusalem. So that's when the boys, the guys, they sought around and looked for them. They couldn't find them. They returned to Jerusalem. Okay, now I understand what happened. That's when the boys went and searched the house and stuff. They couldn't find them. And it came to pass after they departed that they came up out of the well, there we go, and went and told King David and said unto David, "Arise and pass quickly over the water. For thus has Absalom counseled against you." Then David arose, and all the people that were with him, and they passed over Jordan by the morning light. There lacked none. Nobody was lacking. Everybody was with David at the time. One of them that was not gone. Oh, let me go back again. Then David rose, verse 22. Then David arose and all the people that were with him, and they passed over Jordan by the morning light. There lacked not one of them that was not gone over Jordan. Now, Absalom hangs himself. Okay. Ahithophel hangs himself. And when Absalom saw that his counsel was not followed, he saddled his ass and arose and got him home to his house, to his city, and put his household in order. He put his household in order and hanged himself and died and was buried in the sepulchre of his father. You see that? Now, this goes to show, I don't know if this is of the father, but that's how much his word meant to him, his life. The fact that he didn't listen to him that one time. Oh, excuse me, y'all. The fact that Absalom didn't hear him out because he felt like his word was gold. He was like God. Just the fact that they didn't hear him out on how to go do what he do, he going to hang himself. He went to go hang himself. That goes to show you how important people think that they are to somebody. He didn't even care about himself. He said, "Well, let me just go home." They want to do that, forget it. Okay, good, bye. Let me go here, handle my affairs, be with my family, do whatever I need to do. But that goes to show how important his life was. 24. Then David came to Mahanaim. And Absalom passed over Jordan, he and all the men of Israel with him. And Absalom made Amaziah, Amaziah, Amazah. Absalom made Amazah, or Amasa, captain. He made him captain of the host instead of Joab. Oh, man. Now, was Joab still with David? And Absalom made Amasa captain of the host instead of Joab, which Amasa was a man's son whose name was Ithara. 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 And Absalom made Amasa captain of the host instead of Joab, which Amasa was a man's son whose name was Ithara, an Israelite, and went into Abigail, the daughter of and that went into Abigail, the daughter of Nahasha, Nahash, 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 went into Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, sister to Zeruiah, Job's mother. Okay, that's somebody else. Job's mother. Because this is somebody, that's not Abigail, that's not David's wife, Abigail, that's a different one. 26. So Israel and Absalom pitched in the land Gilead, and it came to pass when David was come to Mahanaim, that Shobi, the son of Naahash, of Rabbah, of the children of Ammon, Rabbah and Ammon, and Makar, the son of Ammiel, the son of Amaliel of Lodebar, and Barzillai, and all these names. The Gideonite, the Gildonite, the Gildonite of Rogelim. Woo! I'm going to go back over this point, y'all. 28. Brought beds and basins, and earthen vessels, and wheat, and barley, and flour, and parched corn, and beans, and lentils, and parched pulse. 29. And honey, and butter, and sheep, and cheese of kind, for David and for the people that were with him to eat. For they said, the people is hungry and weary and thirsty in the wilderness. Okay. Let's go over this one more time. Last part of 17, where after Aphathiel hangs himself. He hung himself at verse 23. No wonder, how you went against the Creator's law. You're supposed to know this. You being a counselor. First thing you told him was go into his father's wives or concubines, which is still his wives. Make sure I get this. There we go. Now I'm going to read this down one more time. Ahithophel hangs himself. 23. And when Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not followed, he saddled his ass and arose and got him home to his house, to his city, and put his household in order, and hanged himself and died, and was buried in the sepulchre of his father. 24. Then David came to Mahanaim, and Absalom passed over. Then David came to Mahanaim, and Absalom passed over Jordan, and he and all his men of Israel with him. And Absalom made uh, uh, Amasa captain over the host instead of Joab, which Amasa was a man's son whose name was Ithara, an Israelite that went into Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, sister to Zeruiah, Job's mother, Job's mother. 26. So Israel and Absalom pitched in the land of Gilead. And it came to pass when David was come to Mahanaim, that Shobi, the son of Nahash of Rabbah of the children of Ammon, and Makar, the son of Amael of Lodebar, and Barzillai, and the Gileonite of Rogelim. 28. Brought beds and basins and earthen vessels and wheat and and barley and flour and parched corn, excuse me, and beans and lentils and parched pulse, and honey and butter and sheep and cheese of kine for David and for the people that were with him to eat. For they said, the people is hungry and weary and thirsty in the wilderness. All right. Guess we're gonna leave it right there for now. We're gonna leave 18 for next week. And I guess next week gonna be the death of Absalom. But this is where we at. But as we can see, we're moving through the book. David is encountering his curses, and like the creator said, if you notice from this point on, verse 12, it says in 12 2 Samuel verse in chapter 12, starting at verse 10 through 12, it said, now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith Yah, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun. For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. Now, even though he's talking to David right there, it's certain thing that just hit me when I was reading that. He said, from this point on, there will always be he said war out of our house. Let me go and get that one time. Now, therefore, the sword shall never depart from thine house. That's the key. The sword will never depart from thine house. Now, if you look at it, thine house is, from up to that point, the only ones that was really invading Israel was the Philistines and some of the other nations. But now, you got your own people in your own household raising up against you. Think about it. Before Saul, there was we'll go back to the Judges. If you look in the book of Judges, it was always somebody coming in to stir up Israel and create to give a savior, a messenger or a savior to come through and bring them out. That's a key verse. There was always messengers coming in. Now we have the messengers come in giving people come in, a savior come in to save Israel. Now Samuel was the high priest at this time in Israel. Not this time, but beforehand. Samuel was the high priest. After Samuel, The people wanted a king. We got a king. His name was Saul, which they asked for. Excuse me. Samuel, who they asked for. Or no, not Samuel. Saul, who they asked for. Samuel was just a high priest. End up, the people asked for a king. Saul was the first king. There was no war in the house until Saul was seeking to kill David, even though David did nothing. David was innocent. Now you got everything that happened up to this point. There still was no fight with Israel amongst Israel. Still no fight with Israel among Israel on a higher level. That is. So after that, now we got Saul chasing David, which that was Saul doing it out of jealousy. It had nothing to do with controversy. It was jealousy. But David never retaliated. Now David does something, being at peace. David went into a man in his own household, which is the man became as David. People started looking at this, they see things differently compared to what's going on today. Now David went into a man's wife. He despised the Creator's word. Yeah, he say that down here too. Verse 13. 2 Samuel 12, verse 13. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against Yah. And Nathan said unto, now there goes Nathan. Nathan said unto David, Yah also have put away the, Yah also have put away thy sin, thou shalt not die. Howbeit, here you go. Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of Yah to blaspheme. See that? Because you did this, you gave great occasion to them to blaspheme against my word. This is where it all started at, by David. By what he did. Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion of the enemies of Yah to blaspheme. For the child also that is, then he also said, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die. Then Nathan left. But the point is, all this happened, and I said all that compared to today. We got in our own household, we got people against us. And I say our own Israel. In your own household, your children don't even want to do what you want to do. They're rebellious. They disobedient. It happened here first. It happened in the scriptures. What shall I say? It happened first, and then it was put in the scriptures. People have no understanding. The reason why we go through things and things that we're in. We are the children of David and of those people. So all the things that has happened and is going on is because of an act that happened. And a lot of times we got to be right on our things to make sure things don't happen. You know. Things don't happen outside of the law, shall I say. Excuse me, y'all. Yeah. We got to be back on, we got to get back on point. That started everything up. David having a man's wife killed and then taking her. And from that point on, you'll start to see war in the house. You don't really see too much on the outside. It happens every so often, but not too much. When I mean outside, Syrians, Philistines, from that point, you really don't see them too much invading. But sometimes they'll start up to come through. But the key is in our own house, our children, our family members, people we love are totally against you. Totally against you or somewhat. That's why a lot of families don't get along. We got to recognize what the Creator said and start looking at it as what they think. So other than that, this is the end of chapter 17. And my sleep is coming down on me, y'all. I'm ready to go jump back into bed and get my rest for today. Other than that, just wanted to share with you that I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be, waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who living in the new, this is for you. I'm that same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwells, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This is prophesied for you to see that the Mikael is really me. Praise you, love you, Almighty, and thank you. So, even though I'm a little tired right now, I'm gonna ask if anybody want to say anything at this point in time about the information that was shared today. Does anybody want to share their point of view on some of the information that was shared before we go? Anybody? My brother Chris, Sister Joe, which is my beautiful wife, she done made it on, and also Kaz. Anybody y'all want to share anything that was spoken on today, just in case?
I felt like it was well said, and I have to do my research to, make sure that my feelings right now of how I heard it match with, how it was said.
Right. There you go, bro. Yeah, the more we read, the more we study, the more we know, the more we grow. Look like Miss Joe. I know my brother from UK. I know they was on the road. You saying anything, Kaz? If not, you good, because I know you was going to make a move.
Still on the road, man. I'm stuck in traffic.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to be half an hour late for my appointment.
Oh, you call him and let him know that you're stuck.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you get off recording, I want to share something with you.
Okay.
Reference, is that something took place there in what you were saying as to David? And you mentioned that having children who are not yours, that kind of stuff.
Well,
there was a point you made there.
Not children that's not yours. With me in the story when he said that my son from my own bowels seek my life. That point there, or something else.
I think it was something in that region where it did mention. It happens today where some men looking after children basically who's not theirs.
Right. Yeah, I was sharing that at the point where when David, I'm glad we're having this conversation as well because it's all necessary. When David had sex with Bathsheba, and when he had sex, that's in 2 Samuel chapter 11. That's in chapter 11 about when he took Uriah's wife when they was on the field, when he was out there battling that war. He took her wife, laid down with her, had sex with her, and then she ended up getting pregnant. Then he called to the field to have Joab to bring Uriah home. He come home. David befriended him. And they said, he befriended him. He said, okay, go home to his wife. He didn't go home. He left David's presence, but he didn't go home. He stayed where his servants was at. And then next day, they said, well, no, Uriah's still here. He didn't go home. He said, oh, tell him come back in. He came back in the next day. He befriended him, got him drunk. They set up, got drunk, whatever. He still didn't go home. So that next following day after that, he wrote a letter to Joab and gave it to Uriah. And Uriah had the letter go, and when he gave it to Joab, it told him, he said, put Uriah in the heat of the battle that he died. So he put Joab in the heat of the battle, and he passed. So Joab said, but see, Joab didn't really know. All he knew what he had to do with the Creator said. I'm not Creator, what David said. David told him, put him in the front of the battle. That's what he did. He didn't know what was going on back home. All he knew is that, okay, this is what you tell me to do. He just doing what he told him to do.
Right.
The only ones that really knew about the situation was David, the messengers that went to go get her and bring her to him, and her. When she got pregnant, she had messenger. It must be the same messenger that went and got her to go get to David, the middleman. So when she sent messages to David and told her she was pregnant, he like, oh, okay. Tell Uriah to come on our field. Brought him in, sent him home, befriended him, sent him home. He didn't go home. He was still in the place. Just like if I don't go in my basement, my servants stayed in the basement. If I had servants, they're in the basement. Uriah, and I'm up here in my home. He went to the basement, never went home. And then the servants come up and say, Uriah's still here. He's staying down there with us in the basement. So tell him, come on up here. Come back up. He sit down, befriend. Come on, let's get drunk, man. Come on. Befriend them, give them the drinks, and they get drunk. He think go get drunk now. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get my wife tonight. Stayed again. You know that was of the Creator, as far as I'm concerned. Next thing you know, he written out a letter, rolled it up, gave it to him. Go get this to Joab. Went, gave the letter to Joab. Joab opened it up, read it, put him in the heat of the battle. Okay. Well, I want you to get dressed. And Joab just taking him and put him on the front line until he died. Then he sent back a message saying what all was going on. And he also sent Uriah is dead. Uriah the Hittite is dead. You know, he lost his life. So now I guess David like, good. His wife heard about it. She mourned. She mourned. To give you a quick synopsis of the story, she mourned. She cried on him, but she was pregnant. She cried over the situation. When she got over her mourning, David took her to be one of his wives, right? Took her in to be one of his wives. So now she's one of his wives. And now Nathan comes and gives him the prophecy. One man has all this stuff, and we have another man over here have just one. Well, one man has a field of cattle, of lambs and everything. One man just had one little ewe lamb, and then you got a stranger come in and just said, "Well, I need to eat and whatever." And he take the instead of making from his cattle. This is a parable. He take the ewe lamb, cut it up, and take it from the man. And David got mad behind that. So this must be long past and got out of his mind about what he did. Got mad about it, said, whoever did this should surely die. And then Nathan told him, you are that man. What? He said, you took a man's wife and had him killed. You know what I'm saying, bro? Took a man's wife, you had him killed, and now you took her. So he said that's when the verse 10 and all the rest of that came about. So what I meant by that is that people do that today. Women are out here having sex with other people, even married to them, and then try to blame it on another man. And some men, I said this last week, a lot of men are coming to find out these children are not theirs. They done paid child support and did all this stuff for them. And these women know this. They put a child on a man, and that child don't even belong to the man. And a lot of these women know this. They know what they're doing. They don't belong to that man. They know they had sex with somebody else. Even they could have just stepped out and they got pregnant by somebody else, right? But yet still, same thing David did, like I said, like on the Maury show. Got a lot of women bring these men on the show, and the people trying to say the man is wrong, and she don't even know who the father is. A lot of them are opening their legs up to all type of people. That's the reason why things have to be put back in order. That's why a lot of other knowledgeable or a lot of other clips coming out with men just saying, no, I'm good. They only want to deal with these women of today. But that's what I wanted to share on that. But come on with me, Cass, and on that point, or you wanted to save that for to be off script or off screen?
Yeah, preferably.
You want to be off screen when we talk about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Not recorded.
No recording.
Okay, I got you. So I get off that. I'm gonna put you on pause then before we go. So
right.
Okay, great. So for everybody else, I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be, waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm that same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwelled, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not. because the horn is blown without a doubt. This was prophesied for you to see that Mikael is really me. And for everybody like to get back in contact with me, if you like to call or text, you're welcome to call me or text me at 770-572-5315. That's 770-572-5315. Or you can always email me at lkhyym@gmail.com. That's lkhyym@gmail.com. One thing I wanted to share with that, because it was somebody going through something, and I wanted to share that. It was in my mind while I was talking to that before I go. That was at gmail.com, so I'll go with everything else in a few minutes. With that same situation I was just sharing, it was a woman that was on video. She ended up finding out her and this guy was married for 8 to 10 years. They had 3 or 4 children and found out they're cousins, right? I think I saw this on X, formerly known as Twitter. They've been married for so many years, but people now they got family and say, "Oh, that's nasty and this and that," but they didn't know because they wasn't. And I told you why family supposed to know each other. They wasn't connected. Now they found out they're cousins, married for so long. Now they've ended up finding out they're cousins. What I told her was what I did. I put in the feed. I said, go to Leviticus chapter 18. It will give you your answer. Leviticus 18 will give you your answer. I hope she see it. I just put it out there. I just wanted to share that because a lot of people don't know who their kin folks are today. Because a lot of people don't. Everybody they get in their own corner. They just living life. They don't try to get around to see each other. But things like that happens. My daughter almost thought that she was with who she thought was her cousin. But this was 2 totally different sides of the family. So now I gave you my name, I gave you my number, I gave you my email. If you like to check us out on the social media, on the platforms, you can also catch us on part 1 and part 2, should I say, on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. That's Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube on live. YouTube Live, you find us on Juice Pro 33 on YouTube Live, and it's spelled M-I. You put in the search engine. I'm sorry, you put in the search engine JUICE PRO33. That's JUICE PRO33 in the search engine. Once you put them in the search engine, you can actually like, subscribe, and share. But YouTube Live is when you find part 1 and part 2. That's YouTube Live. Also on YouTube, part 1 and part 2 you'll find on Instagram. Instagram is under L'chaim_the Juice, which is spelled LKHYYM_THEJUICE. Again, that's LKHYYM_THEJUICE. Excuse me. That's Instagram. Now, part 1 and part 2 is also on my Facebook. My Facebook is Michael, or shall I say Mikael Harris. That's MI_CHAEL space HARRIS. That's MI_CHAEL space HARRIS. That's my Facebook with part 1 and part 2. Now to see the full version from Zoom. The full version from Zoom will be upload, download, and place on the information. You can see those on YouTube as well, but this is YouTube video. Go on YouTube under video, under Juice Pro 33. Again, that's JUICE PRO 33. Again, that's JUICE PRO 33. You can like, subscribe, and share. That's my YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and share, and check out the information. Some of the stuff that's being shared. Also, we're on X, formerly known as Twitter. That's X, formerly known as Twitter. The X, formerly known as Twitter, at Juice Pro 33. That's JUICE, again, PRO 33. JUICE PRO 33. All together on YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. You put it all together, and it should come up. Also, you can catch us on patreon.com/LKHYYM for the full version. That's patreon.com/LKHYYM, and also on rumble.com. Excuse me. Rumble.com/LKHYYM. Rumble.com/LKHYYM. Also, now if you want to check us out on TikTok, I have 2 TikTok pages. One of my TikTok is just like the Instagram, which is LKHYYM underscore THEJUICE. That's LKH. Put an @ put in the search engine at LKHYYM underscore THEJUICE. All right. That's for first Instagram. My other Instagram is under Michael the Juice Harris. And I also have a YouTube with Michael the Juice Harris as well. All together, not separated, all together, which is spelled M-I and TikTok, put the @ MICHAELTHEJUICE. Again, @ in the search engine, MICHAELTHEJUICE. All right. It's Michael the Juice Harris on TikTok, as well as also on its a YouTube page as well. Now, if you'd like to see some of our back platforms on Zoom, our Zoom platform we have on Sunday. I mean, well, we'll start off with Sunday, which they say Sunday. Is there actually the night after Sunday, which is at 9 p.m. at night. So that night is after Sunday on almost said we'll say something else. Fight Fire with Truth. It's Fight Fire with Truth every night after Sunday at 9 p.m. It's Fight Fire with Truth. Excuse me, Fight Fire with Truth after 9 o'clock or at 9 o'clock and after on Sundays. On 9 o'clock Eastern. Mondays, we have Mikael's Knowledge of Truth. That's Mikael's Knowledge of Truth on Mondays, the night after, on Monday, nights after the day, which is that night after. I'm getting sleepy, y'all, for some reason. Forgive me. So that's on Monday nights. Tuesday evenings or late Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The first 2 was Sunday at 9 p.m., Monday at 9 p.m. This is Tuesday, which is Zoom only. This is Zoom only on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Tuesday, Zoom only. And this is Introduction to Sovereign Class of Knowledge. Introduction to Sovereign Class of Knowledge. By this is a certain one particular curriculum that we share that's in the private to make sure you get this before you graduate to when we have our Wednesday Freedom Sovereign Class of Knowledge. It's called Freedom Sovereign Class on Wednesdays, and these will be coming in due time, to be determined, might as well say. To be determined. That's after everybody get into their private office. Now, last but not least, we're here every Sabbath at 12 p.m. noon, which is the beginning of the evening and the end of the morning. 12 p.m. noon on the Sabbath day, which is Saturdays, and it's called Sabbath Assembly of the Righteous. Assembly of the Righteous. So other than that, I thank y'all for your time, your patience, your listening ear, your seeing eye. I'm going to pause Zoom, and we're going to have a conversation in a few moments for everybody that's here. You know, like I said, this is open conversation with us. And we have open conversation tomorrow night. Hopefully we'll see you there after 9 p.m. So Zoom, y'all hold on. I'm going to pause you. Love you, appreciate, love you, and always. Peace.